The video you're about to see is for historical purposes only. It is an almost daily snippet of 1010 Wins broadcast in New York City and the New York City metropolitan area. On my morning commute, I listened to this news broadcast and decided to share a snippet of the news for historical purposes. The mission is to record history.
Those of 6 other individuals wanted for going on the tracks at the Lexington Avenue and East 63rd Street station Saturday night. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. 1-800-577-TIPS. Wins News Time 8:04 in Washington Heights, the aftermath of a serious fire yesterday afternoon.
The fire overcame 4 people, including a 98-year-old woman in a 4th-floor apartment along West 190th Street. They are in critical condition today. This man tells CBS 2 News he tried to get inside.
I knew it was the neighbor upstairs was an old lady that I knew, so I had to, the door was locked, so I had to break the door in.
But he was driven away by heavy smoke. Chief Ian Swords says firefighters were able to get inside.
There were a total of 4 patients at this location that were removed in cardiac arrest. At this time, all 4 were resuscitated in our area hospitals.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. Roger Stern, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Washington Heights.
Wins News Time 8:05. A Brooklyn man is under arrest, charged in the shooting death of his girlfriend. Police say 49-year-old Jacqueline Wilson was found shot to death in her East Flatbush apartment early Sunday morning. Her boyfriend, 48-year-old Peter Hibbert, now faces murder charges. And a police officer in New Jersey has died some 2 months after he was shot during a struggle with a suspect. Authorities say Officer Robert Schisler of Deptford, New Jersey, about 20 minutes south of Philadelphia, died yesterday. He was shot back on March 10th in a struggle with a suspect. The suspect was killed in that exchange. Officer Schisler was 27 years old. There are several stories connected to the migrant crisis at the southern border today. The ramifications of the crisis have created a divide between Mayor Adams and officials in Rockland County. Rockland County Executive Ed Day has declared a state of emergency in response to the mayor's plan to house about 340 adult males in a hotel in Rockland County.
Rockland County Executive Ed Day says the state of emergency is not anti-immigrant. He says the small suburban county just isn't equipped to deal with the volume of asylum seekers that New York City Mayor Adams wants to house here for 4 months. 340 adult males at the Armoni Inn in Orangeburg, right down the road from Orangetown Town Hall, where Supervisor Teresa Kenny is considering options.
We're looking into maybe preemptively filing a lawsuit.
She says Mayor Adams sprang the migrant move on her last minute. Day says the natural flow of immigration has already strained the county. Housing, schools, food pantries, and social services are all stressed. Sean Adams, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Orangeburg.
Meanwhile, in Brownsville, Texas yesterday, an SUV plowed into a gathering of people outside a homeless shelter being used to house migrants. 8 people were killed, several injured.
Witnesses say the driver ran a red light before veering off the side of the road, crashing into a large group. He then exited the vehicle and attempted to flee while shouting at the victims. Mirna Arteaga manages the nearby shelter.
Horrific. It was terrible. People were running to help them. The bodies were all over the place.
Brownsville police have charged the suspect with reckless driving and are investigating whether or not he acted intentionally or had alcohol in his system. Police say he's not cooperating.
That's correspondent Nicole Saganga. The shelter director said most of the victims were Venezuelan men. And at the southern border, officials are bracing for a sharp rise in the number of migrants.
The surge is expected as the Biden administration prepares to lift Title 42 restrictions at the border.
We've been preparing for this for more than a year and a half.
Secretary Mayorkas tells CBS's Face the Nation that's why the administration is taking steps like sending troops to the border, not to enforce, but to backstop border control agents. Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott tells Fox News that doesn't fix the problem.
President Biden is sending 1,500, quote, soldiers to do paperwork.
And he blames what he calls the open border policies of the Biden administration.
That's correspondent Linda Kenyon. Quick check of AccuWeather. We're looking at a really nice day, a mild morning, and then sun this afternoon. We'll get up to a high of 77. Nice night tonight as well. A good night for a walk, low of 55. Tomorrow it'll be a little bit cooler, mainly cloudy skies and a shower or two, and a high of 66. Now this message, immigration concerns, call Bar-A Law, 646-894-5900. When it's news time, 8:09. Now to the civil trial against former President Trump. It now appears that he will not take the stand in the case.
Closing arguments begin Monday in columnist E. Jean Carroll's civil lawsuit against former President Trump. Trump missed a Sunday deadline to testify in his own defense. It was not much of a surprise, though, as he has not shown up once during the 2-week Manhattan trial, where Carroll testified for several days, repeating claims she first made publicly in a 2019 memoir. She's suing Trump for battery and defamation after he denied claims that he raped her in a department store dressing room in 1996. She is seeking compensatory and punitive damages totaling millions of dollars.
It's correspondent Matt Piper. The issue of affirmative action is often debated, and supporters are worried that the U.S. Supreme Court may take action against affirmative action. But in that conversation about the issue, the subject of legacy college admissions is often averted. Legacy admissions referring to family members going to a particular university, making it easier for the next generation to get in. New York State Senator Andrew Granardis is among those rallying today for an end to legacy admissions.
Legacy admissions really are a form of affirmative action for privileged students who are able to get a boost in their application to a school, to an exclusive school, just because a family member of theirs went there.
Granardis is calling his legislation the Fair College Admissions Act. It would ban both legacy admissions in New York State and early decision moves, he says, are designed to promote equity. To the war in Ukraine, there was another wave of airstrikes by Russia on Ukraine Sunday night, and there are increased concerns about the safety of Europe's largest nuclear power plant at Zaporizhia.
What's left of the rubble of Bakhmut, Russians are trying to burn to the ground. That's the accusation from Ukraine, blaming the Wagner mercenary group of using banned incendiary weapons, possibly white phosphorus, posting videos as proof. A ferocious parting shot after the head of Wagner, Yevgeny Prigozhin, threatened to pull his forces out of Bakhmut following a rant standing among the corpses of his fighters. A threat later rescinded with the promise of much-needed ammunition.
It's correspondent Charlie D'Agata reporting from Ukraine. Wins News Time, 8:11. That's time for traffic and transit with Karen Stewart.
It's ugly in Brooklyn right now. The inbound Gowanus BQE eastbound combination is just ugly from the Verrazano Bridge up into 39th, where there's an accident, by the way. Continuing up into the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, it's jammed pretty much that entire way, and then we've got heavy traffic into Atlantic Avenue. We've got westbound BQE delays that start at Queens Boulevard to go down to Atlantic, but it's just moderate traffic through that area. Now, we're going to go next over to what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The Williamsburg is jammed into the city. The inbound RFK Triborough is very slow. The Grand Central Parkway delays out to the BQE, start back at City Field, and then once you get past the BQE, it's a decent ride until you get closer to the RFK Triborough and over Randall's Island, start to get really, really busy. The Hudson River crossings are not nice. The inbound George is 65 minutes, an hour 5 for the inbound George upper and lower levels. It's 45 minutes at the Lincoln, at least, and it's 45 minutes inbound at the Harlem Tunnel, and we still have 45-minute delays. 45-minute delays on all NJ Transit rail service in and out of Penn Station, New York. Traffic is sponsored by Cars for Kids. Our next report is 8:21. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Don't waste time trying to get rid of your old or broken car. Cars for Kids is the easiest and fastest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Go to carsforkids.org today. That's cars with a K.
1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your car today.
What a beautiful day for a long walk or a nice run or really anything outdoors. Let's get the forecast now from Dean DeVore.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and it is going to stay that way. We're already up to 61 degrees. Skies are mostly sunny. That little breeze out in the northwest around 10 miles per hour. It is just a picture perfect out the door this morning. And as you get into the afternoon, you will not be complaining. Temperatures up to about 7. Well, you might complain. Everybody complains about everything. But if you like good weather, this is going to be something that you're going to cherish. average today. 77 for the high in the city, closer to 80 in some of the inland suburbs. Upper 60s to near 70 on the island. A great evening to be out and about. And then clouds increase a bit overnight. Temperatures down to 55. We're into the mid-60s. Cooler overall tomorrow with a couple of showers, especially in the afternoon. Then, but it gets brighter and better again on Wednesday, up near 70, warming up to 77 with sunshine on Thursday. And that's where we're going to stay Friday into Saturday. Upper 70s with dry weather. 61 right now, northwest wind at 10, mainly sunny skies. Again at 61, going up to a high of 77 in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore on New York's weather station 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.